Okay. So hey everybody, and welcome to this quick little video on the promoter. So you've just done the free personality test, and what a bonus, you get a free video of me telling you all about the promoter. The best part about this is it's just a quick 5-minute, hopefully 5 minutes, overview on what the promoter is, looking at your traits and emotions and things just to keep an eye on, because you might not have a problem with them, but it's what the other types consider maybe a bit challenging. I call them like roadblocks. But once we have an understanding of where someone else is coming from, it makes us work better with those people. I know over the years through my studies, and I have done psychology, and I'm just finished off counselling, and I've got a bachelor in adult education. I've been doing a lot of leadership training for many years, you know, and I still don't know enough. But what I have learned for myself to be an effective, leader is actually getting to know my people. And I think it starts with becoming self-aware. And that is the whole reason why I do what I do, is to give people some skills to have a look at themselves, not only to be better communicators, whether that's at home or at work, but also to start looking after our own mental health. And in particular in the world of wellness, it's really important to know what your triggers are, to know what you need to do to get yourself back on track. Because let's face it, lots of really bad things happen, and we need to somehow balance it before we break. I mean, most of us break, and then, you go and see a psychologist because we work under the disease model still. You need to move away from that. So doing little things like this is a great opportunity to build your own self-awareness. And in turn, you know what? You're going to build some self-confidence, because you're going to start to learn a little bit about yourself and start learning how to reflect and think, you know what? That works really well. So enough about that. We're going to talk about the promoter. So the 5 traits that are probably the common ones with promoters. Now, if you don't relate to some of these, that's okay, because you might not be as high as what you thought as a promoter. You may have a bit of organizer in you, a bit of the diplomat, as well as the self-reliant. Because remember, that's what makes us, all those traits. And it's not just about all those traits as well. We've got some values, we've got some beliefs, we've got some DNA in there. There's a lot of other things and what's happening in our environment as well. But when they came up with these personality tests, they looked at very common groups of traits that certain people had. And this is how we came up with our different types. So, some different tests you do, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6 different types of people. But what I like to tell people is you've all got them. And whether you like to call them your tendencies, I know I do. Sometimes I need to get out my organising tendencies, whereas more or less I'm quite comfortable in the promoter. So back to the 5 traits, you have confidence. Yeah, pretty much. Most promoters are quite, I'm pretty happy, look at me, I'm pretty going okay. They're very social, they're very outgoing, and they're also quite trusting. We do trust people because we're quite people focused as well. So we can be very creative to a point where we can have lots and lots of ideas. Sometimes I just never get off the ground because we've got so many ideas and we just don't know where to start, because I like to call them all the bubbles that we have. So in particular, they're probably the main 5 traits that I like to talk about. There's a lot more probably of you. There's probably a lot of people watching this that probably think, I can relate, I can't relate. Just take a little bit on board and just keep an open mind to it. 5 emotions that most promoters will have. I guess being outgoing and having a bit of fun, you're going to be quite happy and joyful. Yeah, that's part of us. We'll come into a room and light it up. I'm sorry, but we do. Because when a person comes in and you go, wow, things are going to be fun. We're going to have a good time here. So they're quite eager to get things started. Part of the show here, what's going on. They may, if everything's really quiet, like, hey, let's put some music on and start dancing and all those things. Because they're about people, but they want people to have fun. They don't take things too seriously, which, as you can see, cannot always be a good thing as well. So when we have a look at our other emotions, we have they're very passionate. You will meet someone that is very, very passionate about something. Like me, I'm very passionate in this field. Some people think I'm crazy for it, but that's okay because I love what I do. And the other good thing about confidence there is you can have the haters out there to say stuff. It's like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's probably they got the issue, not necessarily you. But I've done a lot of years of counselling and coaching and all that, so I get that now. But I had to work through that because that's a journey in itself, working through what others say. Because sometimes I think, I'd love to just have a chat to them and see what's going on for them, because there's something else going on there. So back to vigorous. They're very vigorous. So they're very much, okay, calm down now. It's time to calm down. So you can, have you got a picture already? Is this you? If it's not you, you must have answered some of the questions wrong, because hopefully I designed the questions to really pick up the promoters in that particular space. Now, let's have a look at some of those things could be roadblocks. We talk too much. Oh, God, sometimes we do. Have you ever been in those meetings where you just keep talking and talking and then people look at you and think, oh, just shut up? So that can happen. We can do that. Sometimes we're very passionate about what we like, or we have an idea and we just got to get it out there. So we start talking about it. Can that be another problem? Yeah, because we're not listening. We're not actively listening to that conversation. So I've got on there situational listener, because if it's going all right for me, if I get something out of it, then I'll listen. But more times we listen, to hear what I now need to say. So, and that's a lot of people as well. When we're in a conversation, whatever type you are, we will hear what they say, but it's more so we can add our bit to it as well. So we're not necessarily really hearing what they're saying. And I always say to people, a quick little skill that you can practice is try and reflect the feeling that they're saying. So if you can hear that they're angry and frustrated and really pissed off because this happened to them, then the one thing you can say is that you sound really angry. I can hear that you're quite frustrated. Straight away you've connected because you've heard them and they wanted to be heard. That's building empathy. Yeah, not everyone has that, but that's the start of building empathy. So what else have I got under there? So I've got, sometimes we can share too much. Look, I'm a big believer of sharing. I think to share, to be open, is to be vulnerable, but it's also to be genuine. We are human after all, and sometimes it helps us get over the guilt, because a lot of people have a lot of things they don't really want to tell people, or they're ashamed of it, or, and Brene Brown's done a lot of work in that sort of area as well, about shame and vulnerability. But for me, you should be true to yourself. And this is where it starts with self-awareness. You need to be true to yourself and be open to that. So it's really important that we're pretty lucky. We're pretty good at that. We're pretty happy just to share. Sometimes people look at you and think, did she just tell me that she was going to go in and have that and that? Oh, God, that's a bit too much. But that's what we do. We just share. So be mindful of that as well. We are all about ideas. So sometimes that can drive the bananas out of people. So, we've got lots of ideas, lots of bubbles, may not get things done. Our time management skills aren't always so good, and we may not pay attention to detail. I am big on that one. So for me, I'll get up and do a video and hopefully it's done in one take. Yeah, oh well, it'll do. I'm happy with that. So it's funny how when you start to look at yourself and you look at your quirky little behaviours and you go, yeah, that makes sense. So hopefully that just gave you a bit of an overview on the promoter. Now, if you really want to get more into it, because I've actually developed a module, like a course, an online course for the promoter. One, it's going to look at how you actually communicate, how we communicate effectively, looking at the strengths and weaknesses for yourself. But more importantly, it's actually going to look about how you can maintain your wellness, because especially our mental health with promoters, we do so much and we're doing yes, 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 do this, this and this, because we're quite high energy, that when we actually start to fall, we'll start to feel exhausted, because we'll just get to that bottom going, wow, I've done too much. So it's really important to keep an eye on that, to make sure that you do put some self-care in. So even if that is going for a walk or doing something that you love, or really hooking into your values and doing something that you really value. If you're interested in that, please have a look at, there'll be always some information that I'll send to you. If you're not really interested in that information, you can unsubscribe. It's okay. I won't get sad, because some people are ready for this and some people aren't, and that's okay. But this was just a taste of an overview of the promoter. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me some feedback, even through Facebook or Messenger. There's lots of opportunities to explore oneself. You can even meet with me as well. It's a free consultation and we can talk about where you want to go. So thank you. Bye.